Hey folks, how's it going? It's Denham or Den Weasel or whatever. Right, gonna take a look at some other trick tips today. This is gonna be a bit less of like a formal trick tip and more like helpful hints. It's maybe not gonna be quite as in depth because we're gonna cover kind of 3 tricks in this one. So let's have a go, see how we get on. Right, handstand tricks this time. So, in freestyle, loads of people do them. They're almost like a staple trick in freestyle. There's tons of different variations of handstand tricks. Rail handstands, just tail stop handstands and gymnast plants, rolling handstand finger flips, and if you're Derek Elliott, then like truck stand handstands as well. TV stands, I think they're called. Now we're going to do a bit of myth busting on handstand tricks as well, because there's often this misconception that A, they're really, really hard, and that B, you've got to be an absolute meathead to be able to do them. Now don't get me wrong, some handstand tricks are hard, but it's kind of a sliding scale, so just in the same way that some truck tricks are hard, some rail tricks are hard, not all of them are incredibly difficult. Some of them are actually fairly straightforward. You'll be able to figure them out if you know the right technique and the right things you need to be doing, basically. Now on that second point, that you have to be an absolute beefcake to be able to do them, that's just not true. You are able to do handstand tricks with a good bit of core strength and a little bit of upper body strength, but you don't have to have like arms that could like choke an elephant to death or anything like that. So let's have a look at them and look at some easy-ish handstand tricks that you can have a go at to get you into the game. So, as a broad-ish generalization, a lot of different handstand tricks just go by the name of a gymnast plant. So, we're going to look at a tail stop one, we're going to look at one in rail, and we're going to look at a Jimmy wrap or Jimmy whip as well, which is in tail stop, and that one's a little bit more techy. So let's have a look at the first one, which is just a gymnast plant out of a tail stop. Now this one's a really nice, easy beginner handstand trick because we're not having to do a huge amount for this one, and it's going to really help you learn how to kick up into the handstand. So I'm going to start off in my tail stop for this one. Now, this is the key thing with a lot of handstand tricks, particularly the gymnast plants where we're doing them on one hand. What we want to be quite good at is kicking up off the back foot and throwing our weight up and over. So if you take a look at the video here, you can see how I'm using my back foot to really push myself up and over, and I'm jumping, almost throwing myself forward onto my hand to be able to get myself up. Now the hand that's on the board doesn't need to do a lot for this one, okay? All we're doing is grabbing the rail and just twisting the hand and pushing the board back underneath us. Key thing with handstand tricks is that push up off the back foot, okay? Holding it can take a bit of practice, but to get you up there initially, it's that push off the back foot. A lot of people think it's all in the arms. It's not, okay? That kick up is really, really important. Holding it is a different matter. You're going to need to practice that a little bit. Get used to building that strength up a touch. Now the second handstand trick we're going to have a little look at is the gymnast plant out of rail. So we're going to be doing this at the toe side rail. So in my opinion, that's just the easiest way to do this one. This one you might find a little bit easier in some respects. Because you're a bit higher off the floor, it's quite easy to throw yourself over onto the hand and really hold that handstand position for a little bit longer. So, this time, what we're going to be doing is getting that front foot off the board as soon as we're coming down to plant the hand. We're going to kick up and off the board with that back foot while we're grabbing the rail, okay? Now, when we're grabbing the board in the rail, we've got our fingers on the graphics and our thumb on the grip in the middle of the board. As soon as you're up and over into the handstand, all you're doing is pulling the board up, twisting the wrist, and placing the board back underneath you, spotting your balls. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with the rail gymnast plant. You will notice probably the difference when you're throwing yourself over onto that hand. If you push too much, you're going to flip over and just land on your back or go off balance. So it's finding out how much you need to push up onto that hand, okay? You can do a ton of different tricks out of this one. You can try the finger flips out of it. You can try the, I don't know exactly what they're called, pardon my ignorance, but the ones where you basically spin it round on the wheel loads and loads. So you can try that as well. Now the final gymnast plant that we're going to have a look at is the Jimmy Wrap, or Jimmy Whip, I think it's been called as well. This one's a little bit more complicated. We're starting in tail stop, and this time the board is kind of wrapping around your hand. So you're going to need to hold the handstand for a little bit longer and almost throw the board out sideways a little bit just to stop it smashing you in the face. Right, so with the Jimmy Wrap, what I'm doing is as soon as I'm going down to plant the hand and grab the board, I'm kind of kicking back a little bit with that back foot to be able to start off the wrap and make it a little bit easier. You're not kicking back a lot, just a little bit. As soon as the board's wrapped around my hand, then I'm going to make sure I've got a really solid grip. The key thing here is to let it wrap around your hand so you can grip it again on the rail nice and solidly. Then, just as with the other tricks, I'm going to put the board back under my feet, and I'll be nice and compressed when I'm landing as well. Let's have a little look at that hand movement and the grip and where we need to be to get the wrap. Okay, so that wrap is a fundamental part of the trick. Now, I'm going to show you where I'm grabbing on my board when I do this trick. It might be a little bit different for you, but I've got my thumb on the grip, fingers on the graphic, and I'm grabbing just about here. So, I'm about an inch, maybe a little bit less, just down behind those bolts, and I'm grabbing on the heel side, okay? So there's a good way to kind of test this motion out before you try it with a handstand. You can get used to just wrapping the board around your hand just without doing the handstand at all, just to get used to that motion. Once you're really confident with it, then take it into the handstand. Remember, you're going to need to kick up a fair bit and get a little bit of hang time on this to be able to really wrap the board. Make sure you wrap it reasonably far out from your body as well. It can hit you in the arms a little, it can hit you in the face very occasionally, so just keep an eye on that. Cool, there's 3 basic, reasonably easy handstand tricks for you to have a go at. Now remember, get that kick up with the back foot, have that hand ready down and planted on the floor, and just get used to that pulling up and kind of holding the handstand. It's going to take a bit of getting used to. Be confident as well. The main point of failure with handstand tricks is not committing fully to it, so don't be too nervous of it. Keep playing around with them, and I assure you you'll get a couple of them down. Cheers if you like this video, share it, subscribe, whatever you want to do, and we'll see you really soon for some more trick tips. If you need any help, chuck some questions in the comments and let me know what other tricks you want to see. Cheers guys, bye bye.